Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Today is Monday, March 11th, 2019. We got another RuneScape update for y'all. Today we see the removal of the Bounty Hunter minigame and a redistribution of the rewards. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, pretty straightforward. The Bounty Hunter minigame is no more. However, in place, Mandrith is now considered a new Slayer Master who specializes in wilderness tasks. These challenges will see you slay monsters from the wilderness only while keeping an eye out for PKers. You'll need 85 Slayer to engage with Mandrith and receive tasks. The Slayer counter will now show you're on a specific wilderness task, and while working on these you'll obtain Slayer bounty potential, which can be exchanged for rewards from Mandrith. You can also kill other players and steal some of their potential. Iron Men can still do the tasks to earn potential. They will not be able to steal from others however, but a successful PK will reduce the other player's potential by the same amount it would as stolen. Since Mandrith only has a few wilderness tasks, you will not be able to block or use your prefer list with him. His shop is located in the Edgeville Bank and now stocks Slayer rewards, including Bounty Hunter emblems. The following items have been removed from his shop: small and large rune pouches, the superior armor sets, Bounty Hunter teleport unlock, and the Revenant pet unlock. And they've also added the Fremnic equipment patch to his store. Moving on to some of the redistributions of some of the rewards, rune pouches can now be made with magical threads that you obtain while rune crafting via the Abyss. Having the Demonic Skull increases your chance of receiving these threads. You will need 30 threads for a small pouch and 55 rune crafting, and for the large pouch you're going to need 100 threads with 90 rune crafting. The Ogre Flask can be created using 10 robust glass and holds up to 6 doses of the Ogre Spa waters instead of just 1. You'll also need to complete the First Resort and have 89 crafting in order to craft the Ogre Flask. Amulet of the Forsakens has been moved over as a super rare drop from the regular Barrows reward chest. Revenant pens have been removed from the shop and are now a rare drop from Revenants themselves. Each time you get the drop, you'll unlock the next pet, increasing with rarity with each tier. Ancient Warrior equipment patches are found while killing Revenants on a Slayer task. This will not be dropped by Chaos Elemental, however. Bounty emblems can now be upgraded using Slayer bounty potential. They are no longer upgraded randomly, and you can check how much potential you need to upgrade by right-clicking your emblem in your inventory. Since there's no longer a Bounty Hunter zone, the Bounty Hunter teleports have been removed from the game. Any Bounty Hunter points spent on teleports will be refunded. On top of this, the Wilderness shared loot table has been updated to include items that were previously only available through Bounty Hunter. That includes Wilderness Hilts, Adrenaline Crystal, Preserved Meat, Fremnic equipment patch, Revenant drop enhancer, Bloodweed seed, and Brawling gloves. Moving on, they've made some changes to the transmogrification items. All transmog items have been moved into a dedicated separate tab on the emotes interface. Items will be automatically added when they are unlocked, however, you will have to add tradable rings to the interface manually. These can be added to the interface by right-clicking on them and selecting Add to Transmog Interface. These can also be removed at any point, and transmogs can be filtered by categories. Also with today's update, they've added the group system inspect feature. This will allow you to inspect your inventory, worn equipment on the fly of anybody in your group with a simple right click on a player in the group tab. That way you can keep closer tabs on what your group members are using, wearing, and bringing into a fight. That being said, that's going to wrap it up for the main game update. We're going to shift gears on over to the patch notes and see exactly what's going on over there, so let's go ahead and check it out. Players can now mine coal rocks in Miscellanea for approval rating with a full inventory. Pickup Sticks now mentions Dracolith rather than Mithril when locating pick and mix. Fixed a typo with a alchemical onyx on the invention skill guide. The Voice of Saren icons can once again be clicked through on desktop when on mobile. Players are shown the information for the buff tapped. The report bug interface will now remember text entered should you close it and then reopen it. Drunken Dwarf versus the People Court Case reward text now correctly displays 20 gold stone spirits instead of 20 gold ore. Diving to the sunken tutorial island without a fishbowl helmet will no longer cause a disconnect. Carnelian Rising now displays a proper quest complete screen when Philippe Carnelian completes his quest. The IFB title will now be reliably rewarded once hitting a combined total of 100 kills across group and solo mode, as well as having the Ambi pet. It is now easier to see where the barrier will appear during the Ambassador encounter. It's no longer possible to view the Waiko cutscene while in certain areas. Fixed an issue with Quest Journal that was causing issues in Java. Updated Ugh Thank You Kindly Desert Achievements Steps list to improve clarity. Some typos when talking to Saren in the Tower of Voices has been resolved. The smithing leveling benefit for smelting extra Bane bars was missing from the smithing skill guide and has now been added. Butter is now correctly labeled as free to play on the cooking skill guide. As shooting stars can now be mined at any level, their milestone entries on the mining skill guide have been removed. It's now possible to fletch blackstone arrows on a portable fletcher. Kalia, the farmhand collector, will now correctly collect animals from the breeding pen if you were to leave the area with less than the max amount of animals inside the pen. You will now correctly be informed if the collector can't collect an animal. The Trim Masterwork armor will now no longer get stuck ticking zeros under certain circumstances. During Chef's Assistant, cheesecake connoisseurs will no longer take bits out of whole cheesecakes if an already nibbled cheesecake is in your inventory. Stats boosted with the Extreme Skilling Potion will now be correctly set to your base level when the duration runs out. The in-game skill guide for Dungeoneering now correctly lists floors 1 through 35 as free-to-play. Requirements to fight in the Dominion Tower now sync correctly with the quest list. Players will no longer get crafting daily challenges that requires a crafting level higher than their current level. Hearts of Ice will now correctly retain which categories are frozen when logging out and back in. Override Familiar's checkbox choice on the pet interface is now remembered correctly on close and reopen. An unreachable fishing spots in the Mauritania swamp has been fixed. Churning milks into cream cheese was giving experience different to the experience listed on the interface. This has now been corrected. The Imp Horn Wand has been added to the crafting skill guide. Removed a bush in the heist minigame to avoid the player getting stuck when getting up off a bench. The mithril vein in the haunted mine used for the poltergeist achievement has been moved slightly to improve visibility. The turkey book and magical bunny notepaper can now be retrieved from the player-owned house bookcase when destroyed. Players can once again leave the player-owned port's random events if they wish via the exit to port button. Augmented crystal hatchets can now be used to chop down the trees during the Mountain Daughter quest. The friends list will no longer automatically open when leaving the underwater Mud Skipper Cavern. Free-to-play players will no longer receive ceremonial sword plans while smithing. Remove the word elemental on a few occasions in the Elemental Workshop 3 quest journal to avoid confusion on what body needs to be made. A number of tiles south of the Artisan's Workshop no longer force players to face north. Bane burial sets can no longer be made on regular anvils. Map icon in Haunted Mine now correctly displays phasmatites instead of luminites. Free-to-play players can now produce cheese wheels and slice them into cheese. The Make X interface now correctly shows the amount of XP to be received when crafting unfired urns. Removed force walk tiles from an area northeast of Observatory. Cash bags have been adjusted to always be kept on death. Compressed anima recharge costs for Shadow World sigils have now been fixed. Skipping a specific cutscene in Diamond in the Rough quest will now work correctly. Fixed a force walk tile near dig site. Removed a tile in the Spirit of Summer Spirit Realm that counted as wilderness. The following messages have been filtered. You cannot attack that familiar in a single way combat. The divine container is 25, 50, 75% in full. Your backpack is full when mining or foraging. Your backpack is full, you can store ore in your ore box. Your crystal shield life points have been depleted. The following get shown once and are then filtered for 10 seconds. Stomp is currently invulnerable. The luminescent Ice Fiend is encased in ice and cannot be harmed. Barricade blocks all damage. A +2 prayer bonus has been added to the Masterwork gloves and boots. Working with protein bars now correctly plays smithing audio. Easy and medium treasure trail clue rewards will now reward their equivalent in type and size of salvage for rewards that would previously be smithable items. There is now a right-click option to teleport to other fairy rings than Xanaris from the Max Guild skill portals when it is set to the Xanaris fairy ring. The Hunter's outfit will now have the option to destroy the entire outfit after destroying a single piece in the same manner as other skilling outfits do. Herbs and divine locations will now be picked as clean rather than grimy when wearing the full Master Farmer outfit. Suka feathers now correctly benefit from the perk of the crafting skill cape. Corrected various typos found during the mining and smithing rework. Corrected a typo in the Book of the Underworld. Players can now opt to select their favorite fairy ring locations from the interface via keybinds 1 through 8. The description has been updated on the medium Ardoin task, a natural thief, to better reflect which of the chests are applicable for the achievement. The runecrafting skill guide now correctly displays the level requirement for the Runespan high-level entrance portal at 66 runecrafting. Fairy rings now have a new map icon. After discovering each one's transport code, it can be viewed again via a tooltip on the world map. Sacred Clay Butterfly Net can now be used to catch butterflies. Familiars will no longer attack players in a safe zone during a Gobi supply run. Open a dungeoneering door using the store skill boost and or a Juju potion will now display a more accurate message. A selected magic spell will no longer unset itself when exiting a dungeoneering floor. Luck rings no longer have a chance to proc when they are not worn. Made a number of improvements to the World Select interface. Refresh button on the World Select screen has functionality again. Activity and location has been separated. All worlds will now display their location rather than using the RuneScape symbol if they have an activity. Worlds without an activity will display a dash. Increase the overall size of the interfaces. Increase the height of the rows to be bigger on mobile. Increase the majority of the text size on mobile. Increased the spacing between the settings for easier selection on mobile. Widen the settings bar and panel. Remove some PC terminology. Toggle World Hop Confirmation has been toggled on by default on mobile. The World Hop Confirmation toggle is now independent of each platform, so toggling on or off on one doesn't affect the other. Extended the select region on the filters in the header bar across the text and to the Toggle World Hop Confirmation checkbox so that they're easier to select. Added tooltips over players' names in both the friends chat and clan chat list, which displays information about the world they're on. An issue was fixed that was causing names on the ignore list to stack under each other rather than form a list correctly. Non-combat items now correctly prevent player duels. The Tuska's Wrath ability now deals the extra damage on Nihils, Muspas, and Glacior Slayer tasks. And finally, they've added a short wall as an agility shortcut on the island that once were turtles. And that is it for your patch notes. Links to everything discussed in this video will be down in the description below if you want to head over there and do so and check it out. With that, I'm going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Peace.